little bit of a lift is enough, and I'm going to kind of bring it back out and just let the system settle again.
I used to do chiropractic on my horse, and people would do like, oh my gosh, that's gotta be horrible for them to do, and it's like, actually they do it in a whole lot less startling way, and they do it in such a slower movement in comparison to what a lot of people will tolerate from a chiropractor.
So now I'm pulling the spine towards me with my right hand, just slightly. So left hand's going here and I'm pulling here. So I'm just starting, I wouldn't say it's a rotation, but more of this sway, or the esque.
I gotta think about which hip I drop. You definitely did figure it out with that foot earlier. So curious.
See how you're starting to transfer weight? So now if I poke
Yeah.
up with the right side, I shouldn't say poke, but lift with the right, and now lift with the left. And notice too when I do it, see how I sway. And that's just that counterbalance that Arlie has so brilliantly.
You said the whole airway changed.
Now I can do quick. See, quick. See what that does to the knees. Now again, what is this doing for her? I have no idea. I mean, mathematically, how you're going to take home and change all of this. However, just to get up on a horse, that part that gets me, you know, feet stirrup and that sequencing versus lifting my leg up and getting over a horse are two different movements. This person won't be able to ride much longer versus a person that can stand up into the...
Okay.
And they naturally just look better, but you don't know why.
No. Well, there's this gal that runs with her dog, and I'm like, she runs like a ballet dancer. She runs with her dog like a ballet dancer, and it's just because everything is just in flow while she runs. Well, I feel like a clodhopper.
So now I'm doing more to the left. Doing the right too. See that fall?
And is that both because of the activation of the spine and you're lifting more forcefully or using
I am lifting more forcefully, but it's not that I'm lifting more forcefully. When you're in that spot of the back, that the body's the heaviest, versus if I came under here, the pelvis to do it. See, I can do much less force and go boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
So this section, because the way that the shoulders will hit the floor, it's just the heaviest to activate the spine in between. If someone's not, quote, flexible, like you might do this to, let's say, an adult male, or to like Bobby's husband, who I've never met, but he's a moose. This guy's supposedly his shoulders like the size of a,
Yes, he's
you know what I mean? So you're going to have to adjust. You're going to want your Acme sledgehammer, in a sense. But she's already going, oh, is that what you want me to do? So she's just more available. I wouldn't do that movement the second I touched her because it would just be too much of a violation. I needed to associate with her breath and let her breath know that I'm not taking it away from her. And once she was able to articulate with me that the breath was okay, and now Arlie's nonverbal, so I have to do it with, is she going to a startle reflex? Is she, you know, is she showing me her hand starting to clench, her foot starting to startle? That means I've gone too far on her central nervous system, so I have to learn to read her differently because she's not. And also have to read her the same way because just because she says, oh, I'm comfortable, well, she could have been in, if someone like it said fibromyalgia, their level of pain is already here, so their idea of comfortable is like here. Well, I want them here, so they're used to going, well, I'm okay. Well, when I hear someone say, I'm okay, I'm like, well, what's okay? Because usually they're settling. I don't want them to settle. Like kids, they get hurt, you know, or football players. They're playing for $20 million a game, so they're going back out there not okay. I really appreciated when I was watching NASCAR once, Tony Stewart had the flu and he collapsed on the ground. He's like, I'm sorry, I gotta sit down, you know, like you do 500 miles of driving with the flu and, you know,
Yeah, he did. He fell against the wall. I remember that because I followed him. And look at how quickly Hamlin went back after back surgery.
Yeah,
To
but look at
driving.
Ryan Newman's neck. How the heck does he drive a car?
I don't know.
I get these guys, especially with restricted. You talk about a stewardess.
Yeah.
You've got a
Oh
helmet
my
on.
gosh.
You've got a neck. You know, the steering column is like half the size. Talk about restrictive movement patterns.
They put the steering column in after you get it.
Give me Jeff Gordon, man. I'd get him back to first place finish in 3 seconds.
Well, and Terry Labonte, when he started going, he had those floating bone spurs that can make you pass out.
Oh, that's safe.
There we go. So now see the neck?
And they threw him on roller coasters.
Just feel the neck?
Oh.
See now how the skull is releasing and I'm not
Yeah.
even working with it. So now I'm going under, it's a palm heel, just to give it a bit more width. There we go. And so that's just that beginning of the baby move. You're okay, right?
Yeah.
And see though, our hands, all that, so I'm not, I ask anyway, but, so now, I'm gonna work just a cup. Now, see the rotation now. Wow. That's much better, huh?
I love it when
see
the
how-
head starts to
But
go.
see how free the neck is. There we go. See, that's the baby. See how I just push and she comes back to me. Now I'll show you the other side. Because just so I can stimulate the rib cage even with my hands going underneath it. So see the difference?
She emails me pictures. of
She's
her.
still, quote, loose, but again, it's just, see the difference? And also see how she giggles like a child when it is that free. That's just, again, that's where your movements are your motions. You know what I mean? If you just react to stimuli, you get baby. You know, you're, this life's good. And that's where I truly believe what Carpenter said. When you've got movement like that, I have no concerns right now that she's got, let's say, a cancer or any kind of mass that's in her system. Because at least on her right side at that moment, she does not react as if there's something that's foreign in her system that's changing the movement patterns. Because that's where you get into fractal geometry. But if I see where I know it should be jello at this point and I'm getting like a more of a staircase kind of dun 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 or whatever, I start to, you know, I'm not saying everybody's walking around with abnormalities in their system, but you'll see that too if someone's rotted, graphite somewhere, you know, any kind of steel rod in their system. The movement isn't as visceral.
Tony Stewart has a rod in him now, doesn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
My dad made him go back and take the plates and the screws out of his ankle.
I didn't hear how that went.
It went really well, actually. He's gotten so much more movement back
So
in his
see
ankle.
now, I can rotate the shoulder and I'll quickly do the top part of her from this way and then I will do you next. So now feel, see how I can lift under her back?
Yeah.
And then, see, I can just actually pull off the top of her vertebrae here. Rotate down through, and that's jumping, countering. And then this is where she needs work. So see if I feel that when I go to counter your left hip, do you feel that?
No.
Yeah, you don't feel it. So feel this side?
Yes.
Feel the difference? See
Yeah.
with the foot? Feel this side. So stand at her feet, guys.
You can see the move when you do the one thing.
Yeah. So see if I do the countering to the right
Mhm.
and countering to the left, the difference. And she would probably correct when she says, I don't feel it. But the more. And just like the baby was doing, see, now I can just take her neck and be okay with that. You're okay with that, right?
Yeah, that's a
awesome.
scary manipulation for most people, having their necks kind of moved around, I've noticed.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do the opposite with you right now. I'm gonna just show you like what it feels like, the startle in the system of lifting your neck, and then I'll go back and do a lesson, just you know, again. But see, if I don't have this, see this movement in the upper thorax, then I have no right taking her back like this. But see, what's happening here is this counter. As I bring the head back, see her whole system's letting that movement go somewhere.